it's Jack from Cultaholic.com back again with another lovely news video. I think Ross has done one earlier on today, so check that out if you want to catch up on the first batch of news stories. We've got a new batch of them right now, so without any further ado, let's take a look at those headlines. First of all, a Raw segment was apparently scrapped hours before last night's show went on the air. Next up, an injured WWE Superstar could be returning soon. And finally, a WWE Hall of Famer's two sons are set to make their debut in AEW. So first of all, let's go to PW Insider where, so we've all heard about these rewrites that Vince McMahon loves to do just before Raw goes on air, often just even a few hours before broadcast time, with some last minute changes, which seem to happen on a very regular basis these days. And apparently one big segment was indeed scrapped from last night's show and was said to have been a victim of these rewrites from Vince, according at least to PW Insider. Apparently Drew McIntyre was set to appear on A Moment of Bliss with Alexa Bliss, but that never happened. Bliss did appear on the show interacting backstage with Nikki Cross, but there was no interaction, as far as I can remember, between Alexa and Drew McIntyre. Drew did play a key role on the show though. His role was obviously switched around and he was given a bit of a more prominent position actually. He was part of the opening segment where Randy Orton, Miz, Morrison and the New Day were all brawling, and then Drew ran out and then was attacked by Randy Orton, but then later on in the night he got his revenge because there was a six-man tag between Drew, Kofi and Woods, and then on the heel side Miz, Morrison and Orton walked out of the match and Drew got the pinfall, so he was featured quite a lot. We also learned as well at one point that next week, well actually I'll talk about that in a little bit because that's a separate news story on this very video. But in terms of what Drew didn't do, well, he didn't interact with Alexa Bliss. Does this mean that they've kind of decided to separate the Fiend from the ongoing, still continuing feud between Randy and Drew? Or does it mean they've put it on hold so that once Randy and Drew have kind of sorted this feud out, then the Fiend will get involved once again? I'm not quite certain, but it seemed like they were moving away from the whole Fiend aspect at the top of the card on Raw last night. So that is strange to see. We'll keep an eye on that situation as it develops. But what I was going to mention just before I stopped myself was that we also learned that next week there's a big title match set for Raw. It's going to be Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre once again, yet again, for the WWE Championship. Orton discovered this news backstage when Adam Pearce told him and was then very angry about this. He almost attacked Adam Pearce, and then of course there was that interaction in the main event where Orton walked out on his tag partners and Drew won the match. Now, there's been a lot of matches between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre this year, lots and lots. Obviously Randy eventually managed to beat Drew and got one over on him and actually won the WWE Championship, so I'm surprised they've gone for the rematch so soon after, that big title change. I thought, well, now the Fiend's starting to get involved, maybe we'll see a bit of a switch around, some different matchups. But then obviously, this kind of goes hand in hand with our last story that we talked about. Drew was kind of removed from the situation with Alexa Bliss and maybe therefore removed from a potential situation with the Fiend. Why? I don't know, but all I can say right now is that Drew versus Randy continues. We've got another title match between the two of them next week on Monday Night Raw. And remember, the winner of course will go on to face Roman Reigns at Survivor Series in a big champion versus champion clash. So it'll either be Randy Orton or Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, versus SmackDown's Universal Champion, Big Roman. Next up, could an injured WWE star be returning soon? Well, let's take a look at what they've said themselves on social media. The person in question is former NXT champion Karrion Kross. Of course, he was injured in the match when he won the belt and had to vacate it so soon afterwards. It was very unfortunate, but Karrion Kross has given a bit of an update on his condition. So he showed a video of himself lifting weights. Clearly his injury has been rehabilitated enough that he can get back in the gym, and he shared this message along with the video. I've deliberately neglected to answer any questions about my health from fans since August 22nd for a variety of reasons. He continues to say, I see them every day though, the messages, and the check-ins have been sincerely appreciated. However, today I will answer your question. I feel absurdly stronger now than I did even before July. I have not squandered this time away. I've always been addicted to challenges and avenues of improvement even since I was a small kid, and I see no point in returning if I'm not coming back even stronger than I was to begin with. And he finished by saying, see you all again when the time is right, which as you know could be any second, or maybe when you least expect it. Now obviously when Karrion Kross vacated the belt, it was eventually won. It eventually found its way around the waist of Finn Balor. Could Kross return and be put straight into a program with Finn Balor? What does when you least expect it mean? Does that mean like he's going to run in on a match during NXT? Is he going to wait until the next takeover? I don't really know. There's no real time frame to go by here other than the fact that Karrion Kross seems to be doing well and, you know, seems to be raring to go. It's just a case, I guess, of when he is cleared. Obviously, we want to continue to wish Karrion Kross a quick and full recovery from his injury, and it's looking good so far. Next up, let's go back to Alexa Bliss for a second, because she made an appearance recently on the Alison Rosen Is Your New Best Friend podcast, where she discussed a whole variety of topics to do with WWE, but also, perhaps most interestingly, she discussed WWE's often controversial practice of labeling their talent as independent contractors. This has obviously led to a lot of controversy in recent times, especially regarding whenever WWE superstars try and, you know, do well for themselves, make a bit of extra money from alternative avenues. Most recently, of course, Twitch, and then WWE have started to shut down the whole Twitch operation with WWE superstars involved, and that's led to a lot of anger from both superstars and fans as well, because if they're independent contractors, surely they should be allowed to go and do what they want to do. A lot of people have called this whole practice into question, including politician Andrew Yang, for example. So we'll see what Alexa Bliss has got to say on this matter. Well, Bliss took a more positive viewpoint on things than many that we've seen in recent times, saying WWE takes care of us 100%. We're all in a contract, and anything that happens inside the ring, WWE takes care of. Our health is 100% priority. Our health and safety is 100% the priority in the company. She goes on to say, unfortunately, we're living in the middle of a cancel culture where people try to start rumors and make their assumptions of things. There has never been a time where I've ever felt uncomfortable about being in a ring or ever felt forced about being in the ring. Even when I was injured, she says, I had concussions, and Vince said, all right, we're going to send you to the best specialists there are, and he did, and I saw a concussion specialist. They went above and beyond to take care of me, and I know that everyone feels that way. So Bliss there hasn't focused so much on the whole Twitch aspect, the whole, you know, the financial aspect. She's more looked at the health and safety point of view, which according to what she's saying is excellent, and all the wrestlers are very well looked after. She says that not only does she feel that way, but everybody feels that way too, which is great to hear. You know, that's really good to know that the superstars are being looked after really well. I don't know whether that's her overall opinion. I mean, she didn't really give her opinion on the other stuff, but you know, it does contrast a little bit with what other wrestlers have been saying. Not in terms of the health though, to be fair to them. What Bliss has said there, I don't think I've really heard contradicted in recent times from superstars in this day and age. So it seems like WWE are doing well from a health and safety point of view. I would have liked for her to speak a little bit on how she feels about her colleagues and Twitch and that sort of thing. But fair play to Alexa. You don't want to, you know, you don't want to, she might not have wanted to say something controversial. She might just not have an opinion on it as well. So yeah, it's interesting stuff though. And I thought, you know, it's quite interesting to see that, because she's been kept out of the ring a lot recently, hasn't she? She's not maybe wrestled as much as she used to. And I wonder if that's linked to those concussion problems. I remember she was getting injured a fair bit a little while ago. So maybe it's all linked, who knows? And finally, two sons of a WWE Hall of Famer are making their AEW debut tonight on AEW Dark. That's really, really unique, isn't it? So who is it involved in this unique situation? It's none other than one half of the Dudley Boys, Devon, whose two sons will be competing on AEW Dark, Terrell and Terrence Hughes. I assume they're going to be competing as a tag team, but I don't actually know that. In fact, don't worry, I've just checked, and they are competing as a tag team. Devon shared the match announcement. Actually, he shared a tweet promoting the match from Serpentico, who's going to be one of their opponents, saying, very proud of my sons, get ready boys, your time is now. Oh my brother, testify, let the legacy continue. They will be competing as a tag team, who appear to be called TNT, Terrence and Terrell. I see what they've done there. And they'll be taking on Chaos Project, which is of course Serpentico and everyone's favourite, Luther as well. Oh. So there you have it. Devon Dudley's sons will be taking part in AEW Dark tonight. Best of luck to those two guys on their debut for the company. And I imagine that being the son of a WWE Hall of Famer, that's probably going to catch a lot of attention, isn't it? They're not just two rookies just starting out on Dark. They're going to have a name value attached to them, but at the same time, that brings its own kind of pressure and expectation as well, doesn't it? So positives and negatives there, excuse me. Hopefully they can make the most of it. And that is it for this news video. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. Leave your thoughts and opinions in that comment section down below. Let me know what you thought of the video. And as always, of course, stay safe out there, stay positive, and I'll see you very soon.